Hello indie game fans, welcome to Content Patch, a new series covering updates and DLC for indie games that you might already own. Indie games use the games as a service model in its purest form, putting out largely free updates to extend the life of their games. Of course, a couple of these are in early access and the content patches are expected, and do bear in mind that this is by no means complete, since I want to use fancy new trailers to show these off to you. Starting with Max vs Kaiju Episode 2 The Kaiju Wars.
Then, more commanders joined the fight, and we pushed the monsters back. Humanity fought together.
This early access title is a side-on defense game that aims to make you feel like you're on the back foot right from the start, and it is about the triumphant feeling that you get when you do overcome this adversity.
The Kaiju Wars begins.
Episode 2 completes the main story campaign, but there's the promise of more to come in early access. But what I do like about this game is the art, and the whole Pacific Rim feel to the game.
Master the brand new skill trees, warfare and athletics.
The roguelike RPG Stoneshot released in February and has been tremendously well received, and released its first major update titled Troll Slayer last month. This adds a new boss in the Ancient Troll, 2 new skill trees, altars, a new meat system and a lot more, and it is shaping up to be one of the greats.
Take upon a challenge to slay the beast never seen before in the kingdom. Meet the Troll Slayer update. Available now on Steam.
Encased, a sci-fi post-apocalyptic RPG, is a wasteland tactical CRPG that's milling around in early access and got a content patch that was just simply titled Content Patch 2, following up from the first in December. This is a major update in terms of the balancing and the systems, adding more utility to the skill trees, reworked locations, new quest lines and more. The developers did not want to waste your time in case you spec'd out your character in the wrong direction, so tweaks to that system, and they have even introduced cover mechanics, strategic locations and grenades which will affect combat. I too have a soft spot for this genre, so another one that's shaping up.
First feature, renewed locations under the dome. Have you visited Concord Station? What did you think of the roadside picnic or the rotting slums? Forget everything you knew and visit them again. New random encounters. In our last update, we told you we were working on new random encounters. Many of them are already done and included in the second patch. Get ready for updated, rebalanced combat, new NPC encounters with dramatic outcomes, and small locations with useful hidden items. New monsters. The wastelands will be filled with new and unusual enemies. You won't just encounter rats and cockroaches in the desert, but also supersized mutants, cyber hyenas, and crazy, heavily armed raiders. Day and night cycle. In the second patch, Encased will have a real day and night cycle. The sun-blasted wastelands will now sink into darkness, and the first rays of a new day will penetrate the darkest corners of the world under the dome. New level of variability. We are convinced that variation is one of the most important features of an RPG, and this new patch definitely reflects that. You will find new ways of playing through both the main story campaign and separate episodes, which previously were linear. Weapons and armor. What is an update without new ways to kill and avoid being killed? We're all familiar with the thrill of finding new shiny items after a bloody battle. Those were 6 big features you should know about for Patch 2 of Encased RPG. But believe me, that is not all. More unexpected discoveries will await you in-game.
One of the more underrated roguelike platformers is Rogue Glitch, a colourful title with a focus on platforming skills more than anything. And the Corrupted update brought with it new zones, bosses, items, enemies, characters, special rooms and music. In line with the glitch in the title, the Corrupted is a very apt name, so a title that I implore you to check out if you have not. Another roguelite deck builder features on the channel with Deck Hunter, which got a simply titled major update last month. While very Slay the Spire-like in nature, I do like the art and animation, with one nice tweak being combos playing a more prominent role. More UI and UX improvement, new enemy AI, 150 new cards, more balancing changes, a new zone in the swamp, new inventory items, new alchemy combinations and more were added. So for another good Slay the Spire-like title, check this one out. The co-op submarine simulator Barotrauma has been well received, especially if you can get your own crew together, since the spooky atmosphere set in the depths of an ocean on the moon of Jupiter certainly adds to the tension. The Rusted Remnants is the latest update, where wrecks of other submarines can be explored, with a new sea monster living within these. There's also a new submarine to pilot and more spooky lore and backstory, so for a real, hence exploration co-op title, do not miss this one. I was pretty surprised to find out that Don't Starve Together was originally launched in 2016 and has over 100,000 reviews, meaning that it sure is one of Clay's main moneymakers, so it's no surprise that the content patches keep coming, with the return of them, She Sells Seashells being the latest. This one adds in various island survival elements like messages in bottles, fish, crabs, boats, sunken treasure and more, but just glad that I nailed that little tongue twister. I've had a long history with the game Rise of Industry, going way back to when it was in an alpha state, so on the cusp of the 1-year anniversary of the 1.0 release, the developers put up the 1.2 update, details of which I will leave to the developer.
Let's begin with the most important update: logistics. Basically, it was the only way to use long-distance vehicles like trains, zeppelins and boats, but it was a bit finicky, so merged it a little bit with the manual destinations, meaning you can now do a simple I want X product from this warehouses to that warehouse. Something to make life a little bit easier is the target selector. Basically, the world turns black and white and only maintains the colors for those valid buildings. Just straight up, click on the building, that's it. I understand that a lot of you play this game after a long day of work, don't want to do any hardcore math, trying to find the perfect ratio, plus minus 25, oh there's a minus 43 event. We enabled easy, simplified production lines, basically all the timings are rounded to 15 days, so you can have one siphon feeds 2 farms, 1 farm feeds 1 livestock feeds 1 textile. Easy peasy for those of you who don't care about perfect production lines and don't need the extra math in your life. To add a little bit more customization, we added the importing of height maps. Basically, you put a PNG file in the streaming asset folders of the game and it will read it. We've included like a few of them so you can play around with them, but I really hope you guys can drop by Discord and the Steam forums and share your own creations. Last but not least, dynamic events. These are basically mini quests to keep you on your toes. Because events are, yeah, they're fine. I mean, they spice up the gameplay, perfectly fine. But I wanted them a little bit more reactive. And that's pretty much it. These were the main features. Now we need to continue working. We will never stop. Until then, I'll see you in Discord.
You are about to embark upon the Great Crusade. The eyes of the world are upon you. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well trained, well equipped, and battle hardened. He will fight savagely.
The World War II shooter Postscriptum makes the list with its third chapter titled Day of Days, featuring new weapons, vehicles, new divisions of playable characters, new maps, and the Invasion game mode centered on Utah Beach, one of the 5 sectors during the D-Day operation at Normandy, and one more map around the battle for a town further inland after the beachhead was established. Cinematic trailer aside, the visuals in this does look good, but as always, reverence for the war dead should be given. In one of the strangest and coolest crossovers, the side-scrolling pixel art management title Kingdom 2 Crowns gets an expansion titled Deadlands, which sees characters from Bloodstained Ritual of the Night making an appearance, including Miriam, Zangetsu, Alfred, and Jibo, each with their own unique abilities. Love the pixel art as always, and it is a free update, so pick it up for sure.
Hell, let's do this.
The commercial version of Doom roguelike, Jupiter Hell, was one which I enjoyed in early access at launch and got an update titled Masters, which adds 15 Masters traits, 5 per class, increasing the lethality of the Marine, Scouts, and Technicians in play. More weapon variety in the early game makes the loop more compelling, with tweaks to the chain gun, animations, UI, and balancing as well. These Masters traits do change up your build strategy, which is critical for a roguelike, so even better for a great game. Alright, so this one's not free, but the DLC character pack for Streets of Rogue adds in 6 new characters, a mech pilot, a courier, an alien, a goon, a bouncer, and a demolitionist. And if you played Streets of Rogue, you will know how critical characters are to the overall variety of that title. Characters can be game-changing in the sense of how you would approach the entire game, so 6 is plenty, and if you have not tried the base game, another good one which I would recommend. The first content patch for Endzone A World Apart released just 2 weeks after launch and is titled Expeditions, where of course you can send scouts on expeditions to explore the wasteland outside the city. There's a whole bunch of resources to manage, danger and rewards by sending your townspeople out, adding even more to a good game.
Welcome back, fellow survivors. The following chapter of our End Zone Survival Guide is all about expeditions. Before you can set out on an expedition, you have to build the expedition station. It allows you to either send out scouts to discover unknown locations, or to dispatch explorers to search already discovered ruins for treasures. Now, let's get started and check the surroundings for interesting yet unknown locations. There are quite a few of them around. This one is interesting. Let's have a scout take a look at it. It's actually a gas station, quite the remnant of the past, but it still has some useful resources in store for us to salvage. The gas station indeed has a lot to offer. Our team should have enough capacity to bring all these goods back to our settlement. Let's try a bigger one. How about this abandoned nuclear plant? Here we are. Let's see how our team is going to tackle this challenge. Will they fail miserably or return as heroes? It could go either way. Fingers are crossed. Good job, everyone. Despite some setbacks, the expedition turned out to be a success, and the team returned with lots of valuable loot. Now, it's time for us to celebrate. You should too. See you next time, and have fun exploring the world of End Zone, a world apart.
Not so much of a content patch, but just thought you should know, the excellent RPG Disco Elysium is now available on Mac, so perfect to pick up if you have not.
Disco Elysium. Now available on Mac.
Scourgebringer has been a favourite of mine ever since its early access launch for how great the controls feel in this roguelike platformer. So the Living Walls update adds in a whole new biome as titled, with 5 new blessings, 4 new skills, new enemies and bosses. The bestiary has also been added, and more lore and backstory are included as well, so early access seems to be going well for this. If you enjoyed the video, why not share it with a friend? Check out even more great indie gaming videos, and in this current climate, stay safe and I will see you after the jump.